Let's just move to the second debate, which is the major story of this week. The CBSE board meeting and recommending what will be the future course of education, school education affecting thousands and thousands of children. The board has now approved that the three-language policy, which has been followed, by which schools in the north study Sanskrit and schools in the south study, apart from their mother tongue and English, Hindi, they will now be extended from class 8 to class 10, which means that Sanskrit could become a board exam and a compulsory one for students, and in the south, Hindi would become a compulsory one. Is this a move to be commended, or is it something which is unnecessary? Amal?
Actually, I am coming from South India. My state is Kerala, and my regional language, more than 4 crore people are speaking my regional language. Okay, so now I have a question that how many people's mother tongue is Sanskrit? We don't have any disagreement.
But it's not, Sanskrit is not going to be there in the south. It would be the three language, so there Hindi would be the third language, right? That's what you studied in Kerala.
Yeah, Hindi is already there.
So that will be extended up to class 10 now.
Yeah, that is already there.
As a board exam.
Yeah, that
till
is
class
already,
10.
Till class 10. Even I studied that.
Okay, yeah. So you don't have, do you think it's a progressive one or not?
No, that is up to the state actually. The regional language, of course, the regional language and mother tongue, they have its own importance. You can't reject that.
Bhaskar, do you think this is a progressive step?
Yes, definitely it is a very progressive step, and government has been trying to implement the three language formula ever since it came into power in 2014, when BJP government tried to compulsorize Sanskrit in Kendriya Vidyalayas. Yeah. But under then circumstances, German was being offered by Kendriya Vidyalaya, and it was very difficult for Kendriya Vidyalayas to conduct examination for the Sanskrit, because Sanskrit was not being offered. Right. Yeah. So it was difficult then. But this time government has offered a 2-year grace period, and it is enough for every school, private school or government school, to complement the lags, that is between the time that has been announced and the final exam when it will be conducted. Sanskrit is very important for today's prospect and today's generations, because Sanskrit is the mother language of our country, and Sanskrit is the, as Mahatma Gandhi has put it, Sanskrit is the Gangas of all language. Right. And if Ganga dries, all its tributaries will also dry. So all the regional languages that have been derived from Indo-Aryan family has somewhere its root in Sanskrit, and if Sanskrit vanishes, then our cultural heritage, our cultural legacies will vanish. So over the years, the scientific investigations and have proved that Sanskrit has the ability to, Sanskrit is one of the most scientific languages of the world. Sanskrit is one of the, yeah. Okay,
Mrityunjay, do you agree with that?
No, I don't actually. One thing, it should not be compulsory. It should not be compulsory, and you cannot force someone to take a particular language till 10th class. It was fine that till 8th class it is fine, and if someone wants to take it, it should be an optional thing. But if somebody wants to go with Sanskrit, he can take it. Otherwise, it should not be imposed on someone that you take this language. You have to take it for sure, and you have to go in boards. If somebody is not good in Sanskrit or he is not interested, then he will get less marks, and his percentage will decrease. And since we are having board exams, that will be a problem for that student.
Okay.
And one more point.
That two crucial points.
One more point. He talked about Sanskrit so much that it was such a. What about Dravidian? What about Dravidian? It was also a very ancient language. Nobody cares. So it is already reflecting in my friends' views that how they are. It's pure. Since Sanskrit is Brahminical and other things are also linked with it. So that's why the agenda is clear. The agenda is clear why they want to focus on this particular language, Sanskrit only.
Okay, that's interesting. So you talked about Dravidian. I want to go across to Hyderabad. Srikanth, where do you stand on this issue about the CBSE's new recommendations, which have to be approved by the government, but which look set to make a comeback and be enforced from 2018?
Who are they trying to appeal to? The entire South India, I mean, there has been Hindi, but what about Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu has rejected Hindi for quite long, and now making it compulsory, and also making Hindi compulsory and Sanskrit in the North India. Compulsory is like appealing to whom? Who are they trying to appeal? For Dalits, it has been always the external language, and we were always denied. In fact, Shambhuka was killed for studying Sanskrit. and only after Western education, Western English came to India, Dalits got some education, and that's what Ambedkar appealed to. Study English and educate yourself, and that's where our liberation is. I totally think that this agenda of government to Sanskritize is to just it goes with their development agenda of saffronization.
Yeah, okay.
I think there is one common theme in imposing of Sanskrit or Hindi and anything, that is homogeneity. And one more is a control what we'll study and how we study. The question of language should be a choice-based system. For example, if I am studying Telugu, I should have the liberty to study Malayalam too. I should have the liberty to study Bengali too. I should have the liberty to study Odia too. If I am studying Hindi, I should have the liberty to study Prakrit, Pali. Where are the languages? Where is Prakrit and where is Pali? This has been the language of the masses from ages. If you remember, Buddhism and even Jainism, they were not written in Sanskrit. They were written in Prakrit and Pali. Sanskrit has always been a Brahmanical language. The question of upper caste Brahmanism is quite evident in imposing Sanskrit in the northern India and imposing Hindi in southern India of the dominance of Hindi. I am not against the language of Hindi. I personally love the language. I am a great fan of Premchand because I have always studied it. I literally failed in the language in my schooling. But the question over here is its dominance, because even in Hindi there are so many different kinds of Hindi we speak. What about that? What ideation
I
are we
want you to
talking?
think of a response to that, because all the other student leaders have brought it up. Till then, we just take. Yeah, go ahead. Some audience.
My question is to Bhaskar sir. Yes. Sir, you just said that Sanskrit is the mother language and it is like a river from which we have many tributaries. So why don't we have Sanskrit introduced in Parliament? Or can you name even a single newspaper which is published in Sanskrit? And even if this is implemented.
There's an AIR bulletin in Sanskrit.
Huh?
There's an AIR bulletin in Sanskrit.
News bulletin, but there is not a single
Many
newspaper.
people reading that. That's my question.
And sir, even if somebody learns Sanskrit till not 10th, even 12th, what will be his future? I have read Sanskrit till 10th and I didn't find it useful afterwards. So why are you forcing Sanskrit on every other student?
After this, I would like just
see, 65 years of Congress government has been a very tactical move to eliminate Sanskrit from the Indian landscape. See, you have to understand one thing. The books like Panchatantra, which has been written by Vishnu Sharma, has very good collection of literary essays and literary stories that benefit the children, and they learn the Indian culture heritage, which see. What a person
Sir,
carries.
Indian language and culture does not come from Sanskrit. We have south side people who don't even know Sanskrit, and they
Who
have,
said
they
you?
are
Who said you?
Okay,
There
just
is
pass on
only
the mic,
one.
there's an-
There is
okay.
only one village
I
in
think
Tamil Nadu
one
which still
response
speaks
which-
only in Sanskrit. There is no other village in entire country which speaks in Sanskrit. So you cannot say that.
I
there
am
is
from
Northeast.
Uttar Pradesh.
Sanskrit
My sister is doing
One by one.
my
Yeah.
sister. I am from Uttar Pradesh. My sister is doing his PhD from BHU in Sanskrit. She speaks Sanskrit. So, and she also told me that this government represents which part of the Sanskrit, which part they portray to the society.
Yeah,
And
I think by focusing on Sanskrit and Hindi, what they're trying to do is they're trying to alienate people. Like Sanskrit has always alienated Dalits. They have always alienated women. Women have never learned Sanskrit. Now, tell me how many scholars have been allowed to learn Sanskrit. How
They
many
want to
Dalits
teach
have been,
Manusmriti,
how
that's why
many
they are
Dalits have
bringing
been able to
Sanskrit
learn
basically.
What is
Sanskrit?
wrong?
And
See,
not
see,
only
what
that,
is wrong in
not only
teaching
that,
Manusmriti?
by
See,
Manusmriti says that
No, no,
we will be sitting here.
I am telling you what is there in Manusmriti. Manusmriti, there is in Manusmriti, yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra deva.
Yeah.
Is it
but,
wrong?
But there is
It's
also one
just
thing.
been stood up as totally misogynistic.
Anti-Dalit,
Okay. Yeah.
anti-woman and anti-Dalit and anti, it's a
Yeah.
very oppressive text.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's shameful
No,
that he's
have you
defending
gone through the
Manusmriti
original
over
text
here
of Manusmriti?
on
I
national
want to
television.
ask you-
It's
Okay.
extremely shameful.
Okay, let's take another question. Yeah.
Yeah, like we are living in a globalized world where we are thinking about the development of our country, and for the sake of development we need the different kind of languages, and the English is more praisable language in the present scenario. So talking about the compulsorizing that Sanskrit language, is it so relevant to implement to forcefully language on the children?
No, who denied you learning English? In three language formula, English is always there, whether in the north or in the south. Then who denied you?
But Bhaskar, some
imposing
people
German,
point out-
One point, I
imposing
think that is
German,
the
what
note.
is the relevance of learning German in India? How many of us go to Germany and start our professionals or vocationals there in Germany?
One point I
But-
think that is being crucially missed.
Yeah.
This is a new note
Yeah.
which has been printed. And if you can carefully see, for the first time in the independent Indian history, a Devanagari script has been used on the script. This is utterly shameful. What are we doing? They're doing it everywhere.
Why is it shameful?
Because the script, the note, and the thing which we do it every day, the normal things, they are neutral. They are culturally neutral because there is no imposition of anything. Imagine if I start writing everything in my script, will people from other languages feel home in this country? This country is diverse. This country is culturally, linguistically, in every sense it is diverse. You cannot impose anything on anyone.
Yeah. So he mentioned about how Sanskrit, how German is not useful here. So so many of people here learn French and German because we think it somehow will help us. It's something useful in our CV. So how is Sanskrit helping us in similar way? How are we?
See, as I told you, that most of the Indian languages or the languages that have been derived from Indo-Aryan family have their roots in Sanskrit. So as long as you learn the original words from Sanskrit, they will help you. Like you see, the current Indian foreign policy is derived from our Sanskrit traditions only. Ayam nijah paro veti ganna lagu chetsam udar charita nam tu vasudhaiv kutumbakam. So this is the thing that you derive from your cultures. That is you derive from your Vedic traditions. So our foreign policy has not been shaped by the Treaty of Westphalia or say the Treaty of Peace that took place in the later modern era that you say took place after the Renaissance. So Sanskrit has the tradition of shaping your medicine, shaping your scientific science.
If there is any derivative from Sanskrit, it is oppression, anti-Dalit, anti-woman, and it has always eliminated people.
The leftist in JNU,
it is Brahmanism. Now, if Brahmanism is what Sanskrit represents and Hindutva is what Hindi's imposition represents.
Okay, I don't know if it's right to broad stroke it like that, but yeah, go ahead.
So we don't have any problem with the language Sanskrit. Yeah. Okay, some people made that an upper caste and upper class language, and the people who in what Manusmriti is saying, if someone from the downtrodden class, they learned this Vedas, there have to be punished, highly punished. Their tongue should be cut. This kind of punishment, and these upper caste and upper class people, they did it in a way like that.
Sanskrit do have good things also, but it doesn't mean that
they
represent only
the. But now I know that Srikanth wants to. Yeah, Srikanth.
Yeah, whose language is he talking about? Even Bhaskar, whose language is he talking about? It has been always the upper caste language. It has been Brahmin's language. And who accesses this literature, Sanskrit literature? Name a single Dalit, name a single minority who has studied Sanskrit and he knows. It has always been the upper caste language, and it has always denied Dalits.
I have not remembered their names. Who has? I cannot even name a Brahmin who has done lot of jobs in Sanskrit. But what I want to say is that
because you don't even know. See, if you don't know, how do you expect the entire population to know? How do you expect the entire population to know?
Ridiculous argument.
What literature are you talking about?
Call a name.
Talk of something which is development.
I think
not pushbackers to the dark ages.
Ignored Prakrit, Pali, and other so many languages which have been natural to the public.
This Sanskrit is a mother language. What connection you find from Tamil and Sanskrit, and what connection you find from northeastern language and Sanskrit? If you are saying that this is the mother language of entire India, you are just rejecting these places, northeast and south India, from India. So you are forming a cultural hegemony here.
See, Amal, the problem with you is what you know. You cannot speak Hindi. You cannot speak with all of these, or say common people in Delhi in Hindi, because you have never read it. Because you have never read it. But you can. But you can.
There is no Hindi se koi nafrat nahi hai. I am not saying we are not having any problem with any language.
This problem,
what this debate perhaps proves is that this language thing, it created the language wars decades ago, and it still continues to be very, very contentious. And so we have to wait and see which way the government goes. Remember, it's just a CBSE recommendation till now. Will the government seal it or not? That's something we have to wait and see. Stay tuned. That's it on New Kids on the Block this week. Stay tuned for it next week. Thanks to all my guests and the audience. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.